The best Legend of Slime ring guide is finally here, but first let me ask you, which ring do you think is better? This blessed ring with 1700% skill damage, or this old ring with 1400% companion damage? Comment your guess down below and don't cheat because the result may or may not shock you. The battle to the right is the blessed ring with skill damage, and the battle to the left is our old ring with the companion damage boost. As we can clearly see, the astute among you have probably already guessed and realized, more doesn't always mean better in the case of rings, even when that ring has a lower rank and overall bonus. Our companion damage ring did far better, leaving the stage boss at 82.9 AA HP remaining, compared to 136 AA on our skill damage ring run. This is honestly quite a large difference, especially when we consider both the amount of the bonus and the ring grade gap. So this begs the question, which ring attributes should you be choosing? And most importantly, which ring does someone in Cocytus 2 use? Well, I'll be answering both of these questions for you, but let's start by jumping into a Slime Legion dungeon run. I'll explain which attributes to pick during an actual live dungeon run, so you can experience how the decision-making process works. But for some beginner tips, you should always pick the attributes that have the yellow text, since those are the ones that are permanent and will stay on your ring. The attributes with the blue text are only temporary slime boosts, and they only last for the duration of the dungeon run. This is a mistake a lot of new players do make, so just take note of that. And another tip I do have is to never pick gold obtain. You should only be doing so under certain circumstances. I'll explain when that is shortly, because having a gold obtain ring really won't provide you much of a boost in progression. So we start things out with companion damage, since from what was outlined in our earlier damage test, we definitely do want that on our ring, allowing us to start the dungeon run strong. On the next floor, we have another companion damage attribute. We will choose this since we don't want to risk any subpar attributes by refreshing. As we can see, grade was provided on the next floor, and I'm sure many of you know that the attack bonus we get from ring grades are essential. I'll show you a comparison with these two rings. This level 188 rank D ring provides a 13,000% attack boost, whereas this similar leveled rank S ring provides close to 18,000% in attack, about a 40% difference. This really does show that no amount of single ring attack attribute traits will surpass choosing ring grade, so do keep that in mind. Ring grade attributes will be the best choice you can make throughout the dungeon run. Between these next two attributes, you should never be choosing evasion or skill cooldown, since they really don't provide any benefit. We receive another companion damage boost and HP as our choices on this floor. And of course, since we are prioritizing damage in Legend of Slime on our rings, we should always go for more companion damage. That's not to say that HP couldn't potentially benefit us, but I do believe the hit 2 damage from choosing HP would be far more than the overall benefit you get from the increased HP bonus. If it was between anything else other than grade or companion damage, and you were someone in dire need of HP, I would truly consider choosing the HP attribute, since so many people are struggling with HP, and the ring attribute could potentially solve those issues. Now on floor 5, ignoring our terrible options here, ideally you want to get companion damage or grade, since the companion damage boost will always be the highest potential on floors 5 and 10. And as we've noted before, even at 272%, which is the highest roll for certain attributes at stage 183, skill damage is far too weak, and thankfully in the end we received a companion damage attribute, which we are happily going to choose. Moving forward, we have boss damage to choose from. If we look at our slime stats, we have 4,100% of boss damage. This means that at a cap of 272% for my stage, the boss damage boost will only provide a 7% increase to our damage on stage bosses, which is honestly marginal at best. So refreshing the attribute options into something better like grade will be the correct choice here. And when it comes to attack attributes, although they aren't a terrible option, especially in the early game stage at a ring level of 50 or lower, try not to focus too much on getting the best early game attributes for your starter rings, since you'll honestly be past level 50 in absolutely no time. Now, anytime you see attributes with the treasure option, don't pick them. They have the worst bonuses possible. Thankfully, we got grade here again, so we will roll with that. Only do choose the treasure option if you are pushing Slime Legion dungeon run levels, since they do ensure an easy battle to win. Continuing on, we see more companion damage, which never hurts, and I accidentally hit that refresh button while recording, so do be careful when running Slime Legion dungeon runs, since it does happen to the best of us. Now for floor 10, we get 5,800% critical hit damage. Certainly that is a large boost. You would be right in saying so, but is it better than any other attributes we could be getting? Well, looking at our total critical hit damage of 300,000%, with the majority of that boost coming from our toys, even at a 6,000% boost, it really would only be providing us with a 2% boost in damage, where grade and companion damage are still going to be far superior. They give us far better damage scaling, and in some cases boss damage will be the best choice here as well, since we've seen throughout the run, 5,800% is the highest we can get for critical hit damage, but it does go down to much lower values, so do be cautious when choosing critical hit damage over boss damage, since for me at a 272% increase, we have 4,100% in boss damage. This will translate into a 7% boost, meaning if you are at a similar stat end stage to me, boss damage will be the optimal choice to make, but at the end of the day, you should be looking at your slime stats and do the quick and simple math in order to figure out which option is best for you. Continuing on, more grade attributes of course, never skip that option, but a tip I have with choosing grade is to try and potentially refresh early on, especially if you get a lot of grades in the first few rolls. This will allow you to get more companion damage options and better rolls, especially for floors number 5 and 10, but that's just my way of seeing things, since the pool of good options does decrease on floors 5 and 10 if we already have an S rank ring going into those floors. So I personally find it better to risk the grade rolls early on for companion damage if you're feeling the luck. Now I'm thankful that the ring didn't turn out well because I missed that one companion damage attribute. Now when it comes to how often you should be changing your ring, try not to stress too much. I used this level 117 ring all the way until I got this level 162 ring, and again with the level 162 ring being used for quite some time until we got this level 186 ring, which I've been using for quite some time now since the 1,800% companion damage boost is phenomenal. I highly doubt I'll be finding anything better soon, so let me know in the comments what stats your current best ring has. And when it comes to gold rings, honestly don't stress too much about having one. This is my current best gold ring at 3,815%. I hardly remember to equip it, gold isn't your priority in this game, since stages are really what pump up your gold mounts. The only time you should be prioritizing gold obtain on a ring is if your first few floors in the dungeon run were terrible and you were forced to pick gold obtain. This way you're not risking a dungeon run where you could have potentially gotten an amazing ring, allowing you to push farther and obtain even more gold naturally. Well, that was it for today's ring guide. Let me know in the comments what your best ring is and what guides you want to see next. Enjoy!